This is KGW News at Sunrise.
You can't just do whatever you want. You can't say whatever you want. You can't treat people however you want. That mentality needs to go away.
Yeah, despite those sentiments, though, misconduct in the National Women's Soccer League continues. Coming up this morning, more on a new investigation into the league and a look back at what we've learned throughout this ongoing controversy.
And here in the Pacific Northwest, we've got a lot of trees. One researcher, though, says they have found a correlation between more trees and fewer deaths in Portland. We'll take a look at the new study that explains how they got to that correlation.
And the lights are on for us this morning along Peacock Lane in Southeast Portland. That gets a little bit of a cheer and an applause from Brenda Braxton on this Thursday. So opening night is tonight. This is the sneak peek. Peacock Lane is really a great tradition if you've never checked it out for yourself. To me, one of the coolest things they do is they give out free cider and hot chocolate every night, starting at 6.
Awesome.
Who gives away things for free anymore? They do warn you, though, they only do it until supplies run out each night. So get there early if you want the free hot chocolate. They do that through Christmas Eve. The lights stay on, my friends, through New Year's Eve.
It is a spectacular sight. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday Eve. We're getting closer to the weekend. It's going to be a great night, Rod, if folks want to head out to Peacock Lane.
Yeah, it's going to be. It was wonderfully clear last night. We'll be clear again tonight, so you can enjoy that. We have those clear skies right now. Now, the flip side of clear skies this time of the year is you almost always have cold morning lows, and that's where we are. We've been down to 28. Right now, the airport reporting 29, a touch of fog now along the Columbia River. Hillsborough, 25. We have 27 in Camas, 27 in Sherwood. This is my number one story out the door this morning, the 20s, 28 in Dallas. There's Almsville, Salem, and Kaiser each at 26 this morning. Very cold. We have east winds out near the gorge, but so far they've been generally less than 25 miles per hour. We will be clear all day. We'll get up to about 40. Away from the gorge, winds will generally be light, 40 at noon. I have today's high getting up to 44. Guys, back to you.
All right, Rob, we'll check back in with you in about 8 minutes. But right now, we want to get to our top story this morning. Just over 2 months after an investigation revealed widespread misconduct within the National Women's Soccer League, a brand new report released yesterday confirms that misconduct. The investigation noted that there has been some progress, but it says misconduct continues to be reported in more than half of the league's clubs. KGW's Alma McCarty has more.
After a roller coaster of a year,
It's been a roller coaster, mainly going downhill.
fans of the Portland Thorns hope the latest report into allegations and issues will lead to real change for players in this club and for the entire league. Gabby Rosas is part of the Rose City Riveters.
You can't just do whatever you want. You can't say whatever you want. You can't treat people however you want. That mentality needs to go away.
Wednesday's report comes a little more than 2 months after another high-profile investigation. In October, the Yates report found emotional abuse and sexual misconduct were systemic in the sport, spanning multiple teams. That included the Thorns organization. Investigators also ran into problems accessing documents and witnesses while working on this report. The new Covington report found much of the same to be true. The joint investigation team found, quote, that the underlying culture of the NWSL created fertile ground for misconduct to go unreported.
The culture of the NWSL that kind of enabled not just abuse to flourish, but to not be reported is this culture of be grateful, be loyal, you're playing, and that's a gift. And Portland, I think, especially was able to use that to its advantage because for so long in this league, it was the team.
Meg Linehan is a senior writer with The Athletic, covering women's soccer. Her story highlighting the allegations against former Thorns coach Paul Riley sparked the current investigations. While he was head coach of the team, Riley allegedly sexually coerced players, provided alcohol to players and drank excessively with them, and made derogatory comments about players' weight and sexual orientation. The new Covington report found that the Thorns, U.S. Soccer, and the NWSL enabled Riley's coaching career for another 6 years for failing to be transparent about the allegations and findings of misconduct against Riley in 2015.
And there's a lot of finger pointing at who knew what and who would have been able to say more. But fundamentally, I still think that there is a failing that any of these people with knowledge of the investigation from 2015 could have at any point said more.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
This new investigation recommends 6 big changes to end the misconduct and shift the culture within the National Women's Soccer League. They include strengthening anti-harassment policies, developing and enforcing guidelines to address the misconduct, implementing trainings that address player and staff experiences. Here are the other 3. Improving hiring practices league-wide, enhancing reporting and investigation procedures, and prioritizing diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives.
Well, this morning we're talking about something that can be difficult to discuss. Mental health.
Yeah,
we've recently reported on 4 separate murder-suicides in our area. So this morning, we wanted to take a closer look at the resources available to help.
Yeah, take a look inside Lines for Life. It's one of the centers here in Portland fielding calls to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. It just launched a few months ago, and we have the number at the bottom of your screen. You can call 988 if you're struggling and need to talk to a professional. You can also call if you know someone who's struggling. Counselors at Lines for Life can help you make a plan to talk with someone in crisis. They say it can actually be a good thing to bring up suicide and create a safe space to talk.
To ask directly, are you having any thoughts of suicide? And I know that's a hard thing to do, but the way I encourage people to do it is to normalize it and say something like, you know, sometimes when people are going through a really stressful time in their life, sometimes they have thoughts of suicide. Is that something that's coming up for you?
As far as knowing when someone needs help, experts say watch for sudden changes in mood like sadness or stress. But someone could also seem abnormally happy all of a sudden. Isolation and an increase in drug and alcohol use are also warning signs for suicide. Again, the number to call for help is 988.
And another reason we wanted to talk about this today, Stephen Boss's recent death. Boss reportedly died by suicide on Tuesday. He was best known as Twitch, a beloved dance icon from Dancing with the Stars, who then became a regular on The Ellen Show and eventually took on the executive producer role. During his last appearance on the Today Show, they surprised him with his theater coach.
That day was a joy and a chance to say to him how proud I am and how proud we in Montgomery, Alabama are of him.
Boss was a father of 3 and just celebrated his 9th anniversary with his wife. This morning, the Today Show will speak with Mary Murphy, Twitch's judge from So You Think You Can Dance, who is among the many people who are mourning the father, husband, and friend. Again, the number to call is 988. You can use that anytime, call it from anywhere, and get connected to counselors who can both talk with you and direct you to other local resources.
Just days after a cleanup effort in Portland's Old Town, someone covered freshly painted walls at the Salvation Army's building at West Burnside and 2nd with graffiti. Last Friday, the Salvation Army launched a new ongoing effort called One Block at a Time. They called their own building an eyesore with the trash and the graffiti all over it. So they cleaned up with the power of volunteers, and they want to make it a regular thing. They say there's no date set yet for the next cleanup effort.
This morning, we are getting into the holiday spirit over in Southeast Portland at Peacock Lane. This is a sentimental favorite of mine. I used to live on that side of town, and I'm telling you, we'd walk through all the time with the kids. It is definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it before. This, again, is right off Cesar Chavez Boulevard, so it's close to Laurelhurst Park. It's just a block off there. The entire neighborhood does it big, and if you walk through, you can get some free cider, some hot chocolate. It is the way to celebrate the holidays. I can't believe Christmas is a week from this Sunday.
Today is the 15th. Yes, you're right. So I guess we're 10 days away. But man, yeah, a week from Sunday, Brenda. There are the details again on the screen. Pretty cool. If you get there early, you can get a hold of that free cocoa and cider. They say supplies are limited, so they'll do it for free, but only while those supplies last. We're going to bring Rod Hill back into the mix. You know, gang, I was out there covering Peacock Lane maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and I always thought, man, there must be some sort of HOA agreement that says you must put up lights.
Yeah.
The neighbors I talked to said, no, there's nothing in writing that says you have to do it, but pretty much if you move into that block, you're putting up Christmas lights.
There's a lot of pressure.
That did surprise me, Drew. I mean, because this has been going on for, I don't know, forever, right?
We'll look that up for you. We'll get you an exact year, Rod.
Yes, thank you. When did this start? All right, and we have a nice clear morning out there, but it is awfully cold. A lot of you are waking up in the 20s. We're at 29 right now after being down as low as 28 out at the airport. We have above freezing numbers at the coast this morning. Astoria's 35, but look at the inland. Kelso 25, Salem's now 26. Burns is 1 below, and it's only 10 over in Bend. Most areas will see sunshine. There are some exceptions. This shows you some early cloudiness in the valleys of eastern Oregon, and also we expect to see cloudiness linger out in the Columbia Basin. And usually when you get clouds out between Hood River, the Dalles, out into Pendleton, that's a sign of a temperature inversion setting up, which kind of locks down the clouds in that part of our area. And that looks like that's going to be the case today. So anyway, our forecast is pretty simple. It's all about the temperatures. So let's start to the coast. 52 in Pacific City. Again, typically when you get sun with a bit of an east wind, the coast is the warm spot. And that'll be the case again today. Just northeast winds 5 to 15 should be just lovely weather to look at the blue waters of the Pacific today. Out in the gorge, you have sunshine, I think, in Cascade Locks and Stevenson, 38. But by the time you get into the Hood River Valley, you'll start to find cloud cover. It'll be overcast in the Dalles, only 34 there. East winds in the west end of the gorge today, 15 to 35 miles per hour, by the way. And if anything, those winds will get stronger, a little bit stronger tonight into tomorrow morning. Here's a look at the valley numbers. Mid 40s. We were upper 40s yesterday. Portland hit 48 yesterday. Today, this shows Salem at 44. It will be clear and cold again tonight, overnight tonight. This shows low 20s in Corvallis and low 20s in McMinnville. Southwest Washington numbers are similar. Battleground 47, back down to the 20s overnight tonight as the clear skies continue. East winds near the gorge, I think places like Camas and Washougal, generally gusting to about 25 miles per hour today. Here come the 7-day numbers. We still have the clear skies today and tomorrow, dry on Saturday, showers on Sunday. Yesterday, I spent a lot of time talking about that Arctic air mass that I'm still keeping a close eye on. The models this morning, all of them, now keep that cold air boundary just to our north. Doesn't mean they're not going to change their mind, but if the cold air does stay to our north, for example, next Tuesday would be rainy and 42, and we'd be 43 and dry on Wednesday. So I know Brenda was pulling for snow yesterday. There's still a chance that those models aren't quite done fidgeting, but for right now, it's rain.
Okay, well, we're relying on you to keep an eye on it. You got our back, Rod. Thank you. Well, a researcher has found an interesting link between trees and deaths. While they don't necessarily think trees save people, they did find a huge correlation between more trees and fewer deaths. We'll explain next.